we get the area of one face, then we multiply by the number of faces, which we have found to be 6. So surface area of this cube is 216 centimeters. Another one, find the area, total surface area of a cube of sides 18 centimeters. So we have that 18 centimeters, and don't forget it's a cube. A cube has all the edges equal. And what we have said is, to find the area of a closed cube, you find the area of one face, which is length times length, then multiply by 6 faces, because the area of all the 6 faces is the same or is equal. So what you do, you are going to have 18, we multiply by 18, that is the area of this face, that is one face, then we multiply by the number of faces, which is 6. So we multiply 18 times 18 is 324. Then we multiply by 6, we are going to get 1,944 centimeters squared. So that is simply how we get the surface area of a closed cube. So if I may get out of there, sometimes you may be given the surface area of a cube, of a closed cube, and then you are asked to find the length of one side. And sometimes you may be asked to get the total length of all the edges. So the first thing is you have to understand how to get the area, and you have seen the area is L times 6. That is the length of one edge times the other one. To get the area of one face, then multiply by the number of faces. Then from there, after knowing how to find the area, now we can do the reverse. You are given the total surface area of a closed cube, and then you are required to find the length of either one of the side or the length of the total edge, the total length of all the edges of a cuboid. So all of them inclusive, let us look for work out the side of a cube given the total surface area. So you have to know how to find the area of a surface area of a closed cube, then you reverse that. We find the length given the total surface area. So I'll have the total surface area of a closed cube. So I write the total surface area of a closed cube is 726 centimeters squared. Then you are asked, what is the length of one side of the cube? Of one side of the cube. So as I said first, you have to know how to work out the total surface area of a closed cube. So I'm going to draw a cube here, and in this case is closed. So I have a cube. We don't know the length, and we are looking for it. And we have the surface area. So we are going to write surface area is equals to 726 centimeters squared. So we are working out for the length. Now first we write the formula of getting the total surface area. Surface area is equals to, we have said length times 6. Now we are looking for the length given the total surface area. What do we do? To get the length, we are going to take the surface area given, we divide by 6. When we divide by 6, you are going to get the area of one face. So we find the area of one face. And since we have said all the faces have the same length, or rather have the same area, so you are going to get the total surface area. This 726 is the area of all the 6 faces. So to find the area of one face, we divide by 6, and then after that, we find the square root to get the length of one side. So to get the length, take the surface area, divide by 6 to get the area of one face, then you'd find the square root to get the length of one side of the cube. So I have this, we are going to do like this, 726, we divide by 6. What is 726 divided by 6? Then after that, we find the square root. So let us divide. We cancel by 6, we get 1. When we cancel by 6, we are going to get 121. And this is centimeters squared because it's the area of one face of the cube. Now to find the length of one side, we are going to find the square root of 121. So what is the square root of 121? So we look for the number you multiply by itself to give you 121, and we get it's 11 centimeters. So the length of a cube whose surface area is 726 is 11 centimeters. So that is 1. So I want us to look at it again, how to find the length of a closed cube given the surface area. So we start with the surface area, which is length times 6. And then we have said to find the length, you take the surface area given, divide by 6. Why do we divide by 6? We have said all the 6 faces have the same area. So the surface given is the total of all the faces, the total area of all the faces which are equal. So you divide by 6 to get the area of one face. So when you divide, you are going to get the area of one face. Then to find, and remember this face is a square. So we are getting the area of a square face. So the area of a square face is 121. Then to find the length, you find the square root of that to get the length. So I'll give you another one very fast. So I'll give you the total surface area of a closed cube is 1176 centimeters. So this one, you're not going to get the length of one side. We are going to get the total length. What is the total length of all the edges of the cuboid? Of the cube, not cuboid, sorry, of the cube. So we have the total surface area of a closed cube is 1176 centimeters squared. Then the question is, what is the total length of all the edges of the cube? So I want to delete this. I clean. Then I clean from here. Because you're using the same formula, to get the length of the length of a cuboid, we have surface area. You divide by 6 to get the area of one face. Then you find the square root to get the length of one side of the cube. So we have this surface area is length times 6. To get the length is surface area, you divide by 6, then you find the square root. Now this question is not asking for the length, it's asking for the total length of all the edges of a cube. But for you to work out, you have to get the length of one side of the cube. So what you're going to do, you're going to look at the side, whereby we are going to take the surface area of the 6 faces, we divide by 6, then we must find the square root. Remember what we have said? When we divide by 6, we are getting the area of one square face of a cube. Then we find the square root to get the length of one side of the cube. So we are going to divide by 6, we get 1. by 6, we have 144. So if you divide, you are going to get 100, sorry, not 144. It is 196. I think I'm moving faster. So 196 centimeters squared. So that is the area of one side of the cube, or rather one face of the cube. So to get the length, we are going to find the square root of 196, and you are going to get 14 centimeters. So the length of one side of a cube is 14 centimeters. So this is 14 centimeters. And remember, we have said all the edges of a cube are equal. How many edges do we have? When we started, we said that a cube has 12 edges, and we have indicated very well that these 12 edges are all equal. So if you are getting the total length, we are getting the total length of all the edges. We are going to get the length of one edge, which is 14. We multiply by the total number of edges, which are 12. So when we multiply 14 times 12, we are going to get 168 centimeters. So that is the answer to our question here. So the total surface area of a closed cube is 1176. What is the total surface? What is the total length of all the edges of the cube? So you find the length of one cube, then you multiply by 12 to get the total area, the total length of all the edges. So that is what we have for the area of closed cube. So I hope you have understood as we move on to the total surface area of an open cube. So I want to clear here so that we can go to area of open, total surface area of open cubes. So I'm going to draw a cube here. A cube. Then we indicate that all the edges are equal, and then it is open. So when you look at it, it looks like it's open. So we have that. So when we draw a net, I have a net of an open cube. So we are going to have this. So we have a net of an open cube, and this is what you'll notice about an open cube. Unlike the closed cube, an open cube has five faces, and all these faces are equal. So it has 5 faces which are all equal. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all these ones should be equal. Because we are saying it's a cube, all the edges should be equal. Then 2, the number of edges do not change. So it has 12 edges, and all the edges are also equal. Then when we come to vertices, it has 8 vertices. Remember, we have said the vertices is a point. A vertex is a point where one or rather 2 or more edges meet. And when they are many, they are called vertices. So that is an open cube. It will have 5 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices. So when you're getting the surface area, of such a cube, all sides equal, and it's open. And what we have said, with the closed, we multiply the area of one side by 6. But when it is open, it has 5 faces. 5 faces. So to get the area, it will be area of one face, which is length times length. Then we multiply by 5. Because it has 5 faces. And all these 5 faces are equal. That is why we multiply length times 5. So we are going to do 2 examples. And then from there, we go to finding the length of the edges of a closed cube, an open cube, when given the total surface area. So I have a cube here. What is the total surface area of an open cube of sides 9 centimeters? What is the total surface area of an open cube of sides 9 centimeters? So we are going to come here, we write the formula that surface area is length times 5. So you're going to have 9, which is the side, times 9, then we multiply by 5. So remember, we have said 9 times 9 will give us the area of one face. So the area of one face of an open cube, this one is 81. Then you multiply by 5 to get the total area of the 5 faces of an open cube. So when we multiply, we are going to get 405 centimeters squared. So that is the total surface area of an open cube of sides 9 centimeters. So from there, I give you another example. Then we go to getting the length given the side of a cube. To find the side of a cube given the total surface area. So what is the total surface area of a cube of sides 13 centimeters? So I'll draw an open cube. So that's an open cube. It's open, so I'm going to show that it is open that way. And then we are told the length is 13 centimeters. So the question is, what is the total surface area of an open cube of sides 13 centimeters? So we come here, we say surface area of an open cube is equals to area of one face, that is length times length, then multiply by 5. So you're going to go and work out. Length is 13. We multiply by 13, then we multiply by 5. Remember, 13 times 13 is the area of one face of a cube. So this side, so length times length. Then we multiply by 5 because there are 5 of them and they are all equal. So when we multiply, we get 169, then we multiply by 5. What do we get? We are going to get 845 centimeters squared. So that is the total surface area of an open cube of sides 13 centimeters. So having done the total surface area, how do we get the length of one side of a cube given the total surface area when the cube is open? So I'm going to give you two examples. The question is, the total surface area of an open cube is 1,125 centimeters squared. So what is the length of one side of the cube? Or what is the length of one of the edges of the cube? So, as we have said, we are going to draw a cube. We draw a cube. So we are going to draw a cube, and we indicate that all sides are equal. So all sides are equal. We show that it is open. Then we have the surface area is 1125, and we are getting the length. What is the length? So what we have said is, to get the total surface area is length multiplied by the length, then times 5. So to get the length, we are going to get the total surface area. Remember, the total surface area given here is the area of 5 faces which are all equal. The 5 faces which are all equal. So we are going to take the surface area, we divide by 5 because it is the area of the 5 faces which are equal. So we find the area of one face, then we find the square root to get the length of one of the edges. So you take the surface area, divide by 5 to get the area of one face, then find the square root to find the area, the length of one edge. So you are going to take 1125, we divide by 5, then we find the square root. So we are going to divide by 5, we get 1, by 5 we get 225 centimeters squared. So that is the area of one face. So to get the length of one side of the edge, we are going to, one edge of the cube, we are going to find the square root of this. We look for a number that when you multiply by itself gives you 225, and the number is 15. So the length of one side of the cube is 15 centimeters. That is example 1. To find the length of one side or one edge of a closed of an open cube given the total surface area. So I'll do the next one. The total surface area of a cube, let me add, of an open cube is 2,420 centimeters squared. So what is the total length? Total length of all the edges of the cube. Okay. Now, the total surface area, this is surface area. The total surface area of an open cube is 2,420 square centimeters. What is the total length of all the edges of the cube? So I'm going to draw a cube here. So we draw a cube. So we have this. This is a cube. All the sides are equal. The total surface area we are told is 2,420 centimeters squared. And then we are told what is the total length of all the edges. Remember, the cube is open. So to find the surface area of an open cube, it is length times 5. Length times 5 to find the total surface area. Then to find the length, what have we done? We have said to find the length, you find the area of one face. That is, you take the total surface area, you divide by 5. Then after that, you find the square root to get the area, the length of one of the edges of a cube. So when we do that, we are going to find the length. But the question is asking for the total length. But for you to get the total length of all the edges, you have to get the length of one edge. Then you multiply by the total number of edges. So you are going to say length is equals to surface area 2,420. We divide by 5 to get the area of one face. Then we find the square root to get the length of one edge. So when we divide, we are going to have length is equals to, we cancel by 5, we get 1. We cancel by 5, we get 484. So centimeters squared. So the area of one face is 484. Then we find the square root of 484 to get the length of one edge. So the length of the one edge is square root of 484, which is 22 centimeters. So the length of one edge is 22 centimeters. But we have not answered the question. The question asks, what is the total length of all the edges? Now, we said at the beginning that a closed or an open cube has 12 edges, and these 12 edges are equal. So to find the total length, we are going to get a total length of all edges. We have its one edge multiplied by 12. The length of one edge multiplied by 12. So we are going to have 22, we multiply by 12. So when we multiply, what do we get? 264 centimeters. So that is the total length of all the edges. Now we have done how to find the total surface area of both closed and open cubes, and then we have also found out how to find the length of one edge of a cube given the total surface area. I want to give you one that you'll try at home. I want to give you one question that you're going to try at home. The total surface area of a cube of a closed cube is 1,350 centimeters squared. So what is the total of all the edges? So we have that the total surface area of a closed cube is 1,350 square centimeters. What is the total length of all the edges? Then I give you the last question of finding the length of a cube. And then I'm not going to ask the length, and I'm also not going to ask for the total length of edges. I'm going to ask for something else. So I have the total surface area of an open cube is 2,000 square centimeters. Then the question is, what is the volume? What is the volume of the cube? So the total surface area of an open cube is 2,000. Then the question asks, what is the volume of the cube? For you to get the volume, you have to get the length. You have to get the length of the cube. Then from there, you find the volume. So we are going to draw here. So I draw here a cube. And then I indicate it's open, like that. And then all the edges are equal. Then you repeat the whole process. To find the surface area of a cube, we have said its length of one side multiplied by the length, so that you may get the area of the one face, then multiply by 5, because it is open and it has 5 faces. Then we have been told that the surface area is 2,000 square centimeters. So the question is, what is the volume? So we have to find the length of one side. So to find the length, we have said you take the square root of the surface area divided by 5. So you're going to say length is equals to square root of 2000 divided by 5. So we divide, we get 1, we get 400 centimeters squared. So that is the area of one face. So to find the length of one face, it will be square root of 400, which is 20 centimeters. So the length of this cube is 20 centimeters. One side or one edge is 20 centimeters, so each of that. So to get the volume, volume of a cube is length times length times length. Why do we say length times length times length? Simply because you have said it has 12 edges and all the edges are equal. So instead of the way we work out for the cylinder, for the cuboid, where we say it is length times width times height, the length and the width and the height are equal, and they are all equal because we have said all the edges of a cube are equal. So to find the volume, we are going to take the length, which is 20, multiply by 20, multiply by 20. So when we multiply, we are going to get 8,000 cubic centimeters. Now check the difference between the units for the area. A surface area will give the square units, but when we come to volume, we have cubic units. So don't forget that the length also is no cubic, no square units, is just plain. So the length is given in the plain, either meters or centimeters. The area is either square meters or square centimeters, and the volume is either square or cubic meters or cubic centimeters. So we have come to the end of working out the total surface area of cubes, whether open or closed, and at the same time we have looked at how to find the length of one side of the cuboid or of the cube. So at this time I want us to introduce the cuboid. We see the difference between a cube and a cuboid. So we will not find the square root, or we will not find the surface area, but we'll find the properties of a cuboid. So a cuboid will look like this, just similar to a cube. Now it will look like that. Now we say that a cube has all sides equal, but when we have a cuboid looks like this. So this is a box. Now when we have a box, we are going to have this edge, this one, and this one. So this one, and this one are not equal in this case. Unlike where we had the cube where we said all the edges are equal, in a cuboid, not all the edges are equal. So we have this length. As you can see, this one is not the same as that. And only that disqualifies this to be a cube. So this side is not the same as this. So just those two, or rather if you have only one pair of edges which are not equal, disqualifies this to be a cube. So it becomes a cuboid. However, you may have a cube whereby this side and this one are equal. So we say it's a cuboid of a square base. So the base is a square, whereby this side and this one are equal. So when we have this, we can say that this is length. So we have the length. Then we are going to get this as the height. And then we have this as the width. So if the width and the length and the width are equal, that is called a square-based cube, whereby the length and the width are equal and the base will be a square. However, the height must be different for it to be a cuboid. If all the others are equal, all the edges are equal, the length, the width, and the height are equal, is a cube. But if they are different, like in this case, is a cuboid. And that is the difference between a cube and a cuboid. So a cuboid has no equal length and width and the height. They are all not all equal, but we have said you can have the length and the width equal to make it a square base cuboid. So if I draw the net of a closed cuboid, okay, so I have this. So I have the net. So I have the following faces. Just like the cube, we have 1, I have 2, I have the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, and the sixth face. So it will have 6 faces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces. So a closed cuboid, so let me write like this: faces, edges, and vertices. It will have 6 faces when it is closed. So closed has 6 faces. Now what you'll notice about my net here, I want to take you through something very important. You should know when you have this net, and we found it to have this cuboid, like this one, we are going to have the following faces which are equal. This one will be equals to this, equals to this, equals to this, and equals to that. So if we fold it to have a cuboid, then we are going to have this face is equal. Then something very important is also that this face, we study it like this face, this one, this one, this one, add this one together with this one, add this one, then this one, they will also be equal. So when we fold it, these 4 faces or these edges will be equal. So then from there we have these others. Here we have 4 or other. Let me mark with 1. So this one, this one, this one, and this one will also be equal together with this one. So we have that. Those ones will be equal. Then when we make it a cube, we are going to find that these 2 edges will meet to become 1. These 2 will meet to become 1. So we are going to fold it, and we are going to have 1. Then this one and this one will meet to become 1 edge. This one and this one will meet to become 1 edge. Then this one, let me call it H, will combine with this to become 1 edge. And then we have this one, let me call this is K. They are going to meet and become 1 edge together with this one, let me call it M and M. When you fold it, they'll become 1 edge. So that is very important point to note about the edges and the edges are the faces of a cuboid. So when you have the edges, how many edges will a cuboid have when it is open or when it is closed? So I have this, so we are going to count together. So when I hold it like this, I have 1 edge, then 2, then I have 3 and 4. Then I turn it, I will have 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then I'll turn it, I'll have 10, 11, and then I have this one 12. So it will have 12 edges when it is closed. Then vertices. Vertices we have said when it is one is called a vertex, and a vertex is a point where 2 or more edges meet. So we have this edge, this one, and this one, they meet at here. So they are corners. So how many corners do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, then I turn 5, 6, 7, and 8. So those are 8 vertices. So it has 8 vertices. So a closed cuboid will have 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices. What about when it is open? When it is open, I'll just open mine here. Now open means there is one face which is missing. So now I have opened it. So we don't have this face. So how many faces remain? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth one. So it will remain with 5 faces. What about the edges? What you should know is that the edges do not change. These are 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we have 9, 10, 11, and 12. So the number of edges do not change. What about the vertices? The vertices are the corners where we have said it's where 1, 2 or more edges meet. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have 5, 6, 7, and 8. So they remain 8. So we have closed open or closed and open. Open has 5 faces and closed has 6 faces. The only difference between the 2 cuboids, when it is open and when it is closed. We'll come to find more differences when we'll be working on the total surface area. Yeah, so we have come to the end of today's lesson. I hope you have learned more about the surface area of closed and open cubes, as well as the properties of a cuboid. So next, we'll do something different from what we have done today. So keep watching Elimu Live every day from Monday to Friday, 8:15 to 10:15 in the morning. Otherwise from me, bye and have a nice day.
Afya na uchumi endelevu katika jamii ni msingi mkubwa wa kipindi Boresha Kilimo. Kipindi hiki kinajikita katika teknolojia ya kisasa, utafiti na ushirikishaji wa wadau wa kilimo kuonyesha shughuli mbalimbali shambani. Kwa suluhu ya utoshelevu wa chakula, tazama Boresha Kilimo.
Fashionistas, looking for a show that brings you the latest in the world of fashion, glamour, creativity, and style? Fashion Diaries got you sorted as we explore street fashion, modeling, runways, red carpet events, and so much more.
Ashley as Sachi as we unlock the greatest fashion events. Keep it locked. Focus on health
Health is a show that creates awareness on matters health and informs you on various diseases, their causes, treatment, prevention, coping, and support. So join me, Bori Michelle, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. only on KUTV. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at KUTV Focus on Health on Facebook and also on YouTube, and Health Focus on Instagram, because your health is your wealth. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Welcome to Children's Corner. Welcome to Children's Corner. Children's
This program is rated GE. Content carried in here is suitable for general family viewing.
Good morning, learners. My name is Jennifer Karia. Welcome to today's lesson. And today we are going to learn Agriculture Form 4, the topic on livestock production. I'll be taking you through livestock production 6, that is cattle. Previously, during the lesson, there's a previous lesson that you had on the same, where you tackled cattle, the introduction to cattle rearing. You talked about how the calf is handled right from birth, how it is fed using colostrum, and all things that, basically the things that we deal with when we are handling young livestock animals, that is the cattle, particularly the calves. Now, in today's lesson, we are going to be dealing with replacing, or rather rearing the replacement stock. Rearing of replacement stock. That is the young bulls and the heifers. Now, this topic generally will be tackling the replacement of rearing of the replacement stock. We'll also be tackling the types of calf pens that we have. We'll also be looking at the structural requirements of an ideal calf pen, and we'll also be looking at the management practices that we carry out on a calf. Now, the topic is livestock production 6. That is the cattle. This particular topic, I would like to give you a background on what exactly happens when you're dealing with this topic in terms of the KCSE, because these are candidate topic that is in Form 4. And this is a topic that you find in paper 2 when we are being tested in the KCSE. In the KCSE, this one is found in paper 2, and paper 2 basically deals with livestock production. So this is where you are likely to find questions on this particular topic. So welcome, learner, to this particular topic, and I hope you're going to be together throughout the lesson. So the lesson objectives, what you're going to learn today, owing to the fact that you're already introduced to the topic, we are going to continue, and we're going to look at the lesson objectives, whereby we look at what is a replacement stock. What do we mean when we talk of replacement stock. Replacement stock, these are animals that have been selected according to the Form 3 book, whatever we learned in Form 3, the animals that have been selected to replace the old stock. These animals, in this case, because we are dealing with cattle, we are referring to the heifers and the bulls. That is the young bulls. Of course, if I refer you back again to Form 3, we looked at the characteristics of the good replacement stock, and of course they should be young. That is where we are talking of the heifers, which are the young female cattle. We're also looking at the young bulls, which are the males that are meant to replace the old ones that are wearing out. You know, when animals become old, they become less productive, and therefore we need to replace them with younger animals, which we select with a lot of carefully. We select them carefully in order to enhance production in your farm. Now, another of our objectives that you're going to look at today are the types of calf pens. Now, why are we looking at the calf pens? Why are we so much focusing on the calf pens, dear Lana? This is because when you're talking of rearing, rearing is a very broad aspect of bringing up animals. When we rear animals, we are talking of a broad, it is like bringing up a young child. And therefore, rearing, one of the aspects of rearing cattle, you realize that it is good housing. A calf pen is where the calf is housed, where these heifers are housed. And therefore, we require these calf pens to be structured in such a way that they are going to promote productivity in your farm. So we need to look at the types of calf pens that we can use in our farms. And we have several of them. As we're going to proceed, we'll see them. And then our next objective, Lana, dear Lana, our next objective is, or are, the structural requirements. Structural requirements of an ideal calf pen. And I want to say, particularly in this case, this is an S equation. At Form 4 level, by now you are familiar, we have already said that this is a topic in paper 2, and you know in paper 2 or in any paper in agriculture, we have sections A, B, and C. This bit of the structural requirements of an ideal calf pen is commonly tested in section C, which comprises of the S's. The S's, which can carry even up to 20 marks. So you can be sure that in this particular section, you are required to capture as many points as you can so that you are able to scoop the highest score in your exam. Lastly, if time allows, we're also going to look at another rearing aspect of these young bulls and heifers, which we call the routine management practices. Routine management practices. That is, if time allows. Now, welcome to the lesson. And this is generally what we're going to tackle today. I am looking forward to a very interesting lesson because we cannot shy away from agriculture. Remember, it is the backbone of our economy in Kenya. And it is a very interesting subject because it is very practical. We are looking forward to raising young citizens who are conversant with the skills that are necessary in this particular backbone in agriculture, in the economy of our country. So, as I begin, I am expecting also your feedback from the KUTV, from various platforms, that is the social media platforms. At KUTV Kenya, you can tweet, you can Facebook, send your SMSs on the numbers that is on your screen. Kindly participate so that you're going to scoop the maximum content that you need in this particular bit. So welcome, dear learner, as you go through this bit that is very interesting. Now, I think already we have talked about the first bit, which is replacement of the old stock, which is called, of the old stock, which is the replacement stock. I want to believe that that is very clear, because replacement stock, we have said, it is where you replace old animals that are wearing out. They have started becoming a bother in your farm. They have started producing little amount of milk. They are not economical to keep in your farm, dear learner. You need to replace that stock with a new version or new animals, young animals. That is the heifers and the bulls and young bulls. So when you're replacing those young bulls and heifers, you need to rear them in such a way that these bulls, you're going to rear them economically with minimal costs, but at the end of the day, you're going to achieve the highest amount of profit when you're rearing them. Now, because of that, we need to look at the types of calf pens that you can use in your farm. Types of calf pens. And the types of calf pens we have vary depending on, of course, the amount of money that you have in your pocket. It depends on the kind of area that you are living. If it is in a flooded area, you need to look for a particular type of calf pen that will suit that particular region. So generally we have two main types of calf pens, and the first type of calf pen is called the permanent calf pens. Permanent calf pens they are capital intensive, and therefore you require some heavy investment in terms of finances to finance the permanent, because it means they are going to last in your farm for a long time. So we have permanent calf pens. They require a huge amount of money compared to the second category of calf pens that we can use in our farms to rear our calves. I want to remind you, dear learner, that a calf pen is a house, or it is a farm structure that is used that is constructed in a farm to house, or rather to accommodate the calf, to protect it from bad weather, from excessive sunlight, to make sure that it is in a safe place where it cannot be stolen, to ensure that it is not affected by weather elements like the rain. So that is what a calf pen is. So we are saying we have two types of calf pens, the permanent one, and we have the mobile one. So you can construct a mobile calf pen or a permanent calf pen. Now, under the permanent calf pens, under the permanent calf pens, again, we have two categories. And the first category is the one that involves concrete, or rather it has concrete floors. A permanent calf pen that has concrete floors, meaning that the floor has concrete, and this floor means that it is easy to clean, and you can clean it easily and drain the dung and the urine to ensure that the place is always clean. So we have the concrete floors. We also have another permanent calf pen, which has slated floors. Both of these calf pens, the one with the concrete and the one with slated floor, this one means that it is generally to ensure that there is proper drainage. The drainage is good because the slated floors have timber. On the bottom there is timber, and the timber on the floor, that is on the floor of the calf pen, is not in contact with each other. So they are divided by a gap. There's a gap between two timber pieces. So meaning that there's a gap. And of course the gap should not be very large to ensure that to prevent the legs of the calves and the calves from getting in there and injuring the animal. So there should be a slight gap between the two timber pieces to facilitate drainage. When there is urination, and the defecation, there is easy drainage through the spaces that have been left. So the slated floors means that there is a gap between the timbers. The timbers are not close together, so there is a gap between the two. The concrete one, of course, is where you mix the sand, the ballast to come up with a final concrete, and then, of course, you put it on the floor as you construct the calf pen. So those are the permanent calf pens. There are two. We have said the concrete and the slated. Now the mobile calf pen, mobile, coming from the word mobility, or rather bringing the aspect of mobility. What is mobility? Mobility is that idea of movement. It means that you can move. You can move the calf pen from one place to the other. You can move it from one area to the next. Maybe you can move it today from a certain region, you move it to another area, so as the calf can be able to feed on fresh pastures. So the mobile calf pens, dear learner, these ones can easily be moved even after 2 days. Where you had placed it, you move it, and then of course you move together with the calf so that you get fresh pastures. Now, these mobile calf pens mean that because the calf is feeding on the pastures that are growing on the floor, on the ground, you realize that the floor of that calf pen is not covered. It is empty, or rather it is open. The floor is open, but the rest of the area is constructed, so that when you move with the calf, and then you look for fresh pastures, and you realize that the calf will be able to feed on fresh pastures. So these calf pens have an advantage. They have an advantage of there is no buildup of parasites and diseases, and because of that movement, because you move them almost every other day, so you move them and there is no buildup of parasites and diseases. Parasites like the ticks, you move them, you leave the pests where they had been left. Where they had spent the previous day. Maybe a disadvantage we can point out on this particular area of the mobile calf pens. You can talk of the idea of being a bit laborious and tedious, because every other day the farmer must move, or rather the farmer must look for someone to move these calf pens, which is a bit laborious and tedious, and it consumes a lot of time compared to the permanent calf pens. So the permanent calf pens, we said maybe a disadvantage you can talk about is the fact that you require materials that are a bit expensive to construct, like the sand and the ballast and the cement to make the concrete ones. That one makes it a bit expensive. But on the other side, the permanent ones are a bit durable because they last in the farm for a very long time. So up to that point, Lana, I want to imagine that you now can be able to differentiate between a mobile calf pen and a permanent calf pen. So keep streaming and keep sending your SMSs on the number that is on your screen. Ask questions. We are going to look at those questions at the end of the lesson. Also visit your Facebook. Visit the Facebook pages. It's KUTV. Twitter handles. Move there and send your feedback about the lesson. And also you can send your questions as well. So I hope you are enjoying the lesson, and I hope you're learning, because we need to keep the learning even during this period. Remember, learning is a very continuous process, and that is why we are here to ensure that every other time you are activating your mind with learning, because it is very important. Yeah, so dear learner, after looking at the types of calf pens, the next objective of this lesson, and I think it is the one that is carrying the weight of the day, because I believe you have interacted with questions in your different schools, and you have realized that this is a very common question in the exams. It's a very common question in the exam, especially in that section C that we have said, carrying around almost 16 marks. That is a very high mark. And the challenge that we go through when we are marking some of the question, this question in most cases, it is the approach. The learners have the content, you have all the content, but presenting the answer is the challenge. And that is what I want us to tackle today, how to answer this question on the requirements of an ideal calf pen. Structural requirements. Structural requirements. Of an ideal calf pen. Now, structural requirements. What do we require? What do we look for when we are trying to construct a calf pen? A calf pen that is going to serve our animals effectively and efficiently. A calf pen that is going to boost growth. A calf pen that is going to boost maturity of these animals, because we want these animals to reach service age very fast. That is the ultimate goal of a farmer, to reach service age so that they can be served and they start reproducing early enough or at the right time. So, structural requirements of an ideal calf pen that will boost production in the farm. The first thing that we look at is that when you're constructing your calf pen, ensure that this calf pen has concrete walls. Concrete walls and floors. That is number one. An ideal, the best calf pen that is going to produce, or rather that is going to be of importance to your farm in terms of profit maximization. Ensure that the walls and the floors are concrete. If you can afford, ensure that you can make concrete walls and floors. And this is because these concrete walls and floors are easy to clean. This is to enhance cleaning, or to make the calf pen easy to clean. We need to clean these calf pens more often. And I believe that you have a reason why even we clean our houses. I expect we have a reason as to why we clean our houses. Of course, it's because we don't want accumulation of parasites and diseases. When we do cleaning of these calf pens more often, we enhance the health of these animals because they do not suffer from diseases such as foot rot. Foot rot can be brought about by areas that are not clean. When there is accumulated dung and urine in the calf pen, that can lead to foot rot, according to the Form 3 syllabus that we did. Now, that is the first thing. Concrete walls. Ensure if you can, the walls are concrete and the floors are concrete. So, that is the first requirement. Number 2 requirement of an ideal calf pen is that you should ensure that this calf pen is dry. And how do you ensure that it is dry all the time? Put or place dry litter. Dry litter. You place dry litter on the floors. Why do we place dry litter on the floors of our calf pens? This ensures that the calf pen is dry and warm. Ultimately, you should be asking yourself, why do we need a dry and a warm calf pen? The reason why we need a dry and a warm calf pen is simply because warmth ensures that the animal is healthy. It does not suffer from cold conditions that can cause pneumonia. Damp conditions in the calf pen can cause pneumonia. So you are trying to get rid of the incidences of pneumonia in the calf pen, and that is why we put dry litter. So that is another requirement of a calf pen. So the third or number 3 requirement of a calf pen is that the calf pen should be large enough. Large, or you can talk of spacious. And how do we do this? Of course, we ensure that we construct a large calf pen for each calf. Why should it be spacious? Why do we need spacious houses? At the end of the day, I really like relating animals to human beings. Why do you think we require a spacious house? Why do we require a spacious house? Now, in the case of animals, or in the case of these cows, they require a space and a lot of space for exercise. Exercise is very crucial. Exercise and feeding. Exercise is very crucial for each and every living organism. And in the same case, just as human beings, we require a lot of space. Animals also require enough space for them to be able to exercise. And of course, an animal that is getting enough exercise means that it will grow healthier and faster, and it will reach service time early, and at the right time. And also, we require that enough space so that we can be able to accommodate the feeding and the watering equipment. That is the feed troughs and the water troughs. So, dear learner, I hope you are following. We need concrete walls. We need dry litter. We need large and spacious calf pen for the calf pen. Number 4 points. We are now halfway in terms of those points. There are 8 reasons why we need. The requirements of a good calf pen. We require an area that is well drained. The calf pen should be sited in an area that is well drained. Again, we don't want to allow damp conditions in the area. You are placing this calf pen on an area that is dry. It should be dry. That is well drained. There is the environment is not mushy, and therefore we need an area that is dry. And of course, a dry area, we are looking for a dry area or a drained area to control, again, foot rot. To control foot rot. Foot rot is a disease that is caused by bacterial infection. So that bacterial infection can be brought about by wet and damp conditions that you don't want to have in our calf pen. So that is the fourth point. A well-drained area. You should site your calf pen on a well-drained area. Not when it rains, just a slight rain, you realize that the place is getting so mushy. So we need a place that is well-drained in order to facilitate an environment that cannot harbor diseases like foot rot. Number 5th point is the idea of ventilation. Ventilation. Again, I want to pose a challenge to you. Have you ever sat in your house and thought why we need to open our windows more often or every other day? Why do we need fresh air into our rooms? So that is the same reason for the animals. Why do we need the animals' calf pens to be, or rather the calf pens to be well ventilated? So the idea of ventilation should come up, well ventilated. And well ventilated rooms, of course, are brought about by making sure that you put wire mesh. You make sure that there's a portion of the calf pen that has wire mesh. And of course, this one boosts the immunity. The ventilation boosts the immunity of the animals because there is free circulation of oxygen into the body of the calves. So a well-ventilated calf pen is an ideal one for the growth and for the rearing of these animals. So we are at point number 5. And so far, we said that this is an essay question that can earn you up to 16 marks. And for you to scoop those 2 marks, you need to give us the structural requirement, which in this case is the concrete walls, and you need to give us a reason why you need the concrete walls. I said we are going to highlight the mistakes that most of the students make when answering this question. Majority maybe just state, they just state concrete walls and floors and they proceed. This particular question requires 2 parts. There's the part on the concrete walls, and then you proceed and tell us why we need the concrete walls and floors. So you can see in each and every bit that I have highlighted, there is a reason. There is a reason behind dry litter. Why do we need dry litter? You can even go ahead as a good student and tell us the examples of dry litter that you can place on that particular calf pen. Why do we need a spacious room for exercise and feeding, and of course putting the feeding and watering equipment? Why do we need a drained area? Of course, to control diseases such as foot rot. Why do we require ventilation, and how do we ensure that our calf pens are ventilated? Of course, for the purposes of good health and proper ventilation even in the lungs of the calves. We also have another point, that is point number 6. We say that the points are 8 of them. Well explained, you get 16 marks. Point number 6, if by any chance you happen to have a cow that has given birth to 2, or rather to twins, those calf pens should not be placed in the same calf pen. Those calves should be housed singly. We call it single housing. This is the aspect of single housing, where you place the calves singly. You handle the calf individually. So that means as a farmer, you will have to go an extra mile in terms of investment, and in terms of you have to dig deep into your pocket, and you construct 2 separate calf pens, because we want every calf to be in its own calf pen. So that brings the aspect of single housing. And this single housing ensures that the calves do not lick each other. Calves do not lick. I'm talking of this leaking with the L-I. You know, leaks are many. There's the leaking of the water. So the leaking. I hope you understand what you mean by leaking. So the calves do not lick each other. And why don't we want calves to lick each other, dear Lana? Why don't we want calves to lick each other? Licking each other can lead to formation of hair balls in the rumen. And these hair balls are indigestible. They cannot be digested. And of course, a material that cannot be digested, of course, is harmful to anyone's life. So we need these calves to be housed singly, because they can lick each other. Since they are very young and tender, they can lick each other, and it might cause that leaking and hair balls, which are indigestible in the rumen. Now, up to that point, we are at point number 6, and I am encouraging you to keep forwarding your questions and your feedback on the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, at KUTV. And I'm also encouraging you to send also your SMSs and any sort of feedback to the numbers on your screen, that is at KUTV. You can send your feedback there, and we are going to respond to them at the end of the lesson. Yeah, so point number 7 involves the idea of solid walls. When you're constructing a calf pen, ensure that the walls are solid. The walls are solid, and especially at the point where there's a lot of strong wind coming from. So we need solid walls, especially at the sides of the very strong walls where the strong walls are coming from. And these solid walls prevent strong winds from entering the pens, This is because these strong winds can lead to a condition or a disease called pneumonia. Yeah, learners, even animals get pneumonia. So we need to prevent these animals from getting pneumonia by constructing solid walls. But I'm not saying that our calf pen should have solid walls on the 4 walls. You should ensure that the better part, and especially the side where the very strong winds are coming from, you put a solid wall to ensure that drought, there's that phenomenon we call drought, or that situation of drought with the DRA. Another thing we are a bit keen in agriculture are the spellings. You need to be keen on these spellings because they might be a problem. They can be a problem at some point. So drought is brought about by strong winds coming from one direction that can cause pneumonia in these livestock animals. So dear learner, be keen even when you go to exercise this skill of rearing calf pens. You can be able to follow all these parts, and especially the solid walls, because pneumonia easily kills even children. Pneumonia easily kills even calves. So the last point, but not the least, that we have of an ideal calf pen is the lighting aspect. Light. Or rather, you should talk of well lit. The calf pen should be well lit. Well lit. And I would like to pose again another question. A question on lighting. Why do we need our houses to be well lit? Why do we need light in our houses? Light in our houses ensures or makes it easy even for us to see. But in this particular case, light enhances synthesis of vitamin D. Synthesis of vitamin D in these livestock animals. And again, I would like to pose a question that probably I'm expecting a response in our on the SMSs. What the deficiency, or the deficiency that is brought about by lack of enough vitamin D. Deficiency of vitamin D causes which disease, whether to livestock or to human. So we need to know why we need to keep the calf pens lit. For that purpose of synthesizing vitamin D, they require that synthesis. So why do we require that synthesis of vitamin D? So we require, I am expecting that response, and I'm looking forward to seeing the right one. The deficiency that is caused by, the deficiency of vitamin D causes which particular condition in livestock animals. So learners, those are the major points. Those are the major points in this bit, and I would like you to follow each one of them, and I am hoping that you have followed clearly. And I would like to challenge us that to take this particular question into consideration even as you do your revision. And I would also like to challenge you to even during this period of the COVID-19, you can even try to construct a simple calf pen, trying to put all these factors into consideration. Even if you cannot come up with the concrete, maybe, but I would prefer you try to see what you can do to ensure that the calf pen is easy to clean, ensure that the calf pen is dry and warm, of course, by putting dry litter. So that is a challenge I'm trying to ask, because agriculture is very skillful and it is artistic. And when you want to learn these things very fast, it is good to keep practicing on these things. So try to construct. In fact, that is the assignment I would like to assign. If you can get a space to construct a calf pen, try to put all these things into consideration. And even when it comes to theory in your end of year exam, that is in the KCSE, you'll find it very easy to remember, because these points, you need to put them into practice. Well ventilated. How do we ensure that the calf pen is well ventilated? How do we ensure that it is well drained? How do we ensure that it is single housed if you have more than one calf? How do you ensure that the walls are solid? So how do you ensure that it is well lit? So that is what I would like to encourage each one of the agriculture students at the Form 4 level. Now that you have enough time, put that time into use, and it will help you somewhere, even in answering the theory questions. So we have several, looking at your responses, we have questions that are coming up. Winnie, what are the requirements of a calf pen? I think we have stated and explained them, requirements of a calf pen. That question, I know, this question can be approached it can be asked in different questions, but these are the points. Those are the points, Winnie, the concrete, the dry litter, and of course you explain. I think that is what we have been explaining, and thank you for that question. Morning teacher, millennium, what about, what height should be the calf pen raised? A very good question, Millie. Millie, a calf pen should be raised if you are planning to do a calf pen that is raised, especially for the permanent raised ones. You should raise it to a height of between, that is from the ground, the posts. The 4 posts should be measuring a height of between 60 and 90 centimeters. 60 and 90 centimeters, that is the ideal height for a raised calf pen. The one that we said has slated floors. Yeah, thank you very much. That is a very good question. Another question here coming from Lewis. I am Lewis from Gituntu High School. What process followed when training a calf to take milk? This one is the artificial feeding that I think my colleague talked about the last time, but I wouldn't mind revisiting it. Revisiting the question of artificial feeding. Artificial feeding, the procedure. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we are talking about the artificial feeding. That is feeding from a bucket. Training a calf to feed on a bucket. Artificial feeding. Maybe the cow that gave birth to that calf has died. Or maybe you have bought a calf that is very young and still needs to be given milk. How do you as a farmer feed that particular calf? That is what my friend here is asking. And I think the first point on that is, of course, to ensure that your hands are clean. You clean your hands and you make sure that they are well sterilized before you start handling the milk. The next thing is, of course, you clean the buckets that you want to use to feed the calf with. The third thing is you put clean milk. We talk of clean milk. You ensure that there is high level of cleanliness when you're dealing with these calves, because lack of cleanliness leads to scores. So we have said you clean your hands, clean hands. We have said you clean buckets, clean the bucket. Put clean milk. Put clean milk, of course, on the clean bucket. And then after you put clean milk and, of course, the hands are clean, the next thing is you put the index finger on the milk. Then you entice, or you bring the calf so that you can make it to drink. Actually, you put the index finger on the mouth, not on the milk. You put the index finger on the mouth. Of the calf. Then when you put, because young animals, including children, they have a tendency of, they really want to suckle and they want to eat the fingers and the hands of human beings. So you entice it with your finger that is clean, and then you lower the calf, because the finger is already in the mouth. You lower the hand into the milk. Lower the hand into the milk. So that is the procedure basically, and this is around 5 marks. It's a very common question as well. Let's look to more of your feedback. Here we have states Hi, teacher. I'm Samuel from Kiamaina Secondary. Thank you, Samuel, for your feedback. Please state the reason why calves should be housed in individual calf pens. I think we have mentioned that on the single housing, why we house calves on individual calf pens. It is to prevent leaking of the calves. We don't want them to lick each other because it will lead to formation of hair balls that are indigestible. And when there is indigestion, that means the animal is unhealthy. We have Naomi Mutheo. Thank you, teacher, for your lesson. You have understood better. Thank you very much, Naomi. Dukaus undergo menstruation. So we have I have Kate. I have a question. Kate from Nyeri, I have a question, but it is not related to the topic. Why do farmers prefer wearing white protective gears when harvesting honey? Of course, it is to repel the bees. The bees are afraid of light, and of course, you know, white garments reflect a lot of light. So that one can repel the bees. Let me see the questions. Thank you very much for your feedback. My name is Phyllis from Siaya. My question is, what are the management practices carried out on dairy bull calves? That one is that is Form 4. Form 3 work. But thank you for that. Phyllis, I would like to refer you to that Form 3 work, but I would give you some points. But of course, there are more management practices on dairy bull calves, and I think we were to tackle that, but time might not really allow. Management practices range from issues of rearing practices, parasite control. You need to control ectoparasites and endoparasites, like the worms and the ticks, using appropriate chemicals or appropriate methods that do not necessarily mean chemicals. We have vaccination of, that is diseases. You control diseases through vaccination. You can castrate these bulls. You can identify them, identification. You can dehorn. Actually, dehorning is very good for the bulls because it makes them docile. So those are some of the points that I can give on that bit. We have a question from what is the maintenance of a calf pen? A very good question indeed, and this is very much within the topic. How do we maintain our calf pens? How do we maintain our calf pens? You have not said your name, but thank you for that question. Maintaining calf pens generally means you repair. The first thing is, of course, you repair the broken parts. You find that some animals sometimes get aggressive and they break some parts of the calf pen. You need to repair them. You need to clean regularly. You clean the calf pen regularly. You need to disinfect. Cleaning is very different from disinfecting. Disinfect the calf pens. Yeah, those are some of the maintenance practices that you can carry out on the calf pens. A lot of questions coming in. Thank you very much. We have why is calf pen painted white? Why is a calf pen painted white? From Kevin Laboret Boys High School. And I would like to say that I think it is the other way around. We don't paint. Maybe there's something you have omitted. A very good question indeed. Actually, we don't paint the calf pen white. We don't. We whitewash them. We don't paint them white, we whitewash. And the reason why we whitewash, we just wash the cement that has been made, that has made the walls and the floors. We don't paint them at all. Because the paint contain, the white paint or any paint contain lead. And lead, you know, it is a poisonous metal. So we don't paint them because of the issue of the lead that can cause poisoning to the calves. So thank you very much. Keep tweeting, keep sending your feedbacks through the various media platforms at KUTV. And thank you very much for watching. We have another question here on for which duration? Morning teacher, I am Christine from Kanyagi Girls. For which duration should a calf pen be housed? A calf pen can be housed for up to around even 6 months, depending on the farmer's preference and depending on the commercial activity that the farmer, it depends whether you are doing commercial with this calf or the dairy business, or you are doing subsistence. Some farmers can keep them even for up to 6 months, but others withdraw the calf pen from the pens even at around 4 months. Morning teacher, I'm Collins from St. Teresa, Itete High School. About artificial feeding, are there some outcomes that may be encountered? Are there some outcomes that may be encountered due to poor feeding? Artificial feeding, and I think you asking Christine. Oh no, it's Collins, eh? No, it's Christine. Yeah, Christine. I think you're asking about the disadvantages of artificial feeding, and of course, artificial feeding has some disadvantages. Disadvantages of artificial feeding, we talked about, or rather in your previous lesson where you're tackling that bit, you talked about one disadvantage being the calf might might not receive the right quantity of the milk. You can also talk about the idea of the buckets. If they are not properly cleaned and disinfected, they can come up with, they can cause the scores, which is a bacterial infection that attacks the calves. So I would like to end there, though I can see so many questions coming in. There are so many questions. I'm very happy that you are really participating. But I would like to wind up this lesson with concluding that whatever we have learned today, the key thing that you need to master are the types of calf pens, which we said are two main types, the mobile and the permanent ones. And we also need to really go through these things and ensure that they are at your fingertips by the time you're doing your exam, because this particular question does not miss. It might miss on section B, but something must come up from this bit. That is what we have analyzed and realized, that this area is very much tested. So thank you very much for your feedback. I have been your teacher for today. I hope you have enjoyed the lesson. And I said I am teacher Karia Jennifer. I teach at Kahogoine, and I believe even my students are watching me. Thank you very much. We are going to meet next lesson. God bless.
share our planet with. Join us on the most exciting adventures across the African continent. See breathtaking wildlife, stunning landscapes, and out of this world technology. Meet incredible scientists and learn fantastic facts. Explore, discover, be amazed. Be part of the next generation of African change makers. Be a part of Engine, Africa's #1 science discovery program. Yay!
We're learning every day. Let's go. Engine leads the way.
Technology, science, innovation, ICT and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back to the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Technovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the 4th Industrial Revolution, decoded in a language, all for one for all. Every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
Wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
The folks are going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Ni idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Uruzi ya kilimo huimarisha afya na uchumi endelevu katika jamii. Ni msingi mkubwa wa kipindi Boresha Kilimo. Kipindi hiki kinajikita katika teknolojia ya kisasa, utafiti na ushirikishaji wa wadau wa kilimo kuonyesha shughuli mbalimbali shambani. Kwa suluhu ya utoshelevu wa chakula, tazama Boresha Kilimo.
This program is rated GE. Content carried in here is suitable for general family viewing.
To whatever life throws your way. If you're in a tough situation, don't give up, don't you complain. It's okay, find a way, just use your brain. To be an Ubongo, just use your Ubongo. Ubongo kids, Ubongo kids, Ubongo kids, Ubongo kids. To be an Ubongo, just use your Ubongo. Ubongo kids, Ubongo kids, Ubongo kids, Ubongo kids.
KUTV Village Football Club. Oye!
Oye! Listen up, everyone. Okay. We've received an invitation letter from Matimbwa FC. Koba, read out the letter.
Right. Is everybody listening? Here we go. We invite you to play a football match between Matimbwa SC and KUTV Village FC. Matimbwa Sports Club would like to prove its awesomeness by playing against you and beating you to smithereens. If you agree to this match, please bring many buckets with you to carry home all of the goals we'll score against you. Thank you very much. Please send your captain with an answer at your earliest convenience. Did you hear that, guys? Yeah! They said they want us to send our captain with an answer.
Hear that, guys? How cool is that? So, what do you say? The invitation is okay, but we don't have a captain.
We should have an election and choose a captain. We are democracy here.
An election? Good idea.
Good idea.
Every person will get a pen and paper.
Okay.
Now, write the name of the person who you want to be captain on the sheet of paper. Got it?
Okay. Fine. Okay, now let's add these up. Koba,
Kiduchu,
Amani,
and the last one, Kiduchu.
all right, let's look at the results. Koba got 40%.
Wait, how can he get 40 when there aren't even 20 of us? Kibena, you're doing it all wrong. Where did the 40 come from? There are only 10 of us.
Listen, Baraka. Results of elections are often reported using percentages.
What?
Look, Baraka. 4 of us chose Koba. That means that 4 out of 10 chose Koba, right?
4 out of 10. Yeah, that's right. But where did the 40 come from?
Come on, guys. Is this a math lesson or a football election? Percentages are just numbers out of 100.
Okay, let's go through this. So 4 people out of 10 chose
4 out of 10 as a percentage, we have to multiply it by 100%. Now instead of writing that 100 there, we can just write this symbol like this. So 100% will be written as 100 out of 100, or just 100 with the percentage symbol. So here we have 400% over 10. What's 400 divided by 10?
It's 40.
So, 40%.
You see? That 40% just means 40 out of 100, which is the same thing as 4 out of 10.
I understand. So Amani got 2 votes out of 10. If I multiply that by 100%, 2 over 10, we get 20%.
Cool. But what do we do now? Koba and I both got 40%. We should have another vote, just between the 2 of you. Okay, guys, close your eyes and let's vote again. Let's do it. If you want Kiduchu to be our captain, raise your hand. If you want Koba as captain, raise your hand. Ready? Open your eyes.
So Kiduchu got 50% and Koba also got a 50%.
So what do we do now? Penalties! Alright guys, these aren't just regular penalties. Each player will get 5 chances to shoot on goal in 5 different ways.
Okay.
The one who scores the highest percentage of their shots will be our captain.
Okay.
Okay then, round 1. Left foot. After the first round, Kiduchu 0, Koba 1. Round 2,
Right knee.
round 3, headers. Round 4,
Back.
Koba. Final round, right ear.
Yeah, I won! I did!
It's not a goal.
I won! I won! I did it! Woo!
You used the left ear.
What?
Oh, you guys are tied again. You got the same score. What now?
The first one who can calculate their score as a percentage will be the winner and our captain.
Okay.
1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. And I got 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. 3/5. What's that as a percentage? So to get a percentage, I multiply by 100%. 3 times 100 is 300. And 300 divided by 5 is 60. 60%! How did you do it? You started well, Koba. You got 3 out of 5. Now look. 3 out of 5 is the same as 60%. Man, Kiduchu, you're really our captain.
Thanks, Assistant Captain. Congratulations! Now what do you have to say?
Thanks, everyone. I'm really happy to be your new captain. Now, I've just got one job. But before that, you need to give me an answer to send to Matimbwa Sports Club. Do we accept their challenge?
Of course!
What percentage of us agree?
100%!
Uncle T thinks about mathematics. Are you telling me you don't know what the percent is? How will you understand things if you don't know what the percentage? Don't worry though, we're gonna fix that right now. Just listen to me. If you say 1/2, that's 1 out of 2. It's 50%, that's what I'm telling you. Because it's 50 of 100. Can't you see that 1/2 of 100 is just 50? 1/2 is the same as 50%. Now 1/4 is the next one. Tell me what percentage is it? 25%, sir. Come on now, did you get it? Okay, I'll quote it. Percentages are easy. Don't you know it? They are numbers out of 100, portions of it. When you write out of a percentage, use the special sign. It means out of 100, if you know that you will be fine. You will be fine. Sure, you will be fine. 10% is just 10 out of 100. 20% is just 20 out of 100. Any number with this percentage sign means it's out of 100. Out of 100. They represent a selection out of something unless it's 0%, which just means nothing. Percentages are easy. Don't you know it? They are numbers out of 100. Portions of it. 10% means 1/10. Now you get it? And so 100% just means all of it. What are you wondering? Percentage. Percentages are easy, that's what I'm telling you. It's a number out of 100, that's all you need to do. Percentages are easy, that's what I'm telling you. It's a number out of 100, that's all you need to do. Mathematics is a language, and percentages are just another way of saying words like a fraction and an express in ratio. If you want 100 out of 100 people say yes, then the agreement is 100%. If 50 out of 100 people say yes, then the agreement is 50%. I just love percentages.
Do you want to see more great videos from Ubongo Kids? Visit our YouTube channel, Ubongo Kids English, and you'll see lots of special clips, behind-the-scene videos, and tips on how to be a real Ubongo Kid. Just go to YouTube and search Ubongo Kids English, and we'll see you online.
Hey, Kimena, what's your favorite food? I love vegetables. Why do you ask? One day I want to cook for you. Tiny Timber, stop looking around. You don't know how to cook. Just wait. One day I'm going to cook for you and you'll be surprised. Okay, cool. I can't wait. Pumpkins, they are my favorite food. Whenever I eat, I end up feeling good. Wait, Tiny Temple, I've forgotten how much you love pumpkins. I was just singing the song to remind you. Tiny Temple, you're a sneaky one. We've had so many pumpkins in our field this year. We've eaten a bunch and we're gonna sell the rest. Come on, Kimena. You know how much I love pumpkins. You didn't think to save me even one. Wait! There's a couple left in our field. Let's go see my grandmother. Wait a minute. Does she know you? Kimena. She knows me. I am well known. That's great! But we have to ask her really nicely. And I think she'll give you 2 pumpkins. That would be amazing! Right, let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Kibena, why did you bring this pumpkin monster home with you?
Grandma, did you guess why he's here? I came to see you, Bibi. It's been so long since I last saw you, and I really miss you.
Stop the flattery, Junior Jumbo. I know you came here for pumpkins. I have a question for you. Have you ever heard that you have to earn your keep?
Yes.
Right then, grandchildren. First, you need to help me out and take all of these pumpkin green to sell at the market, okay?
What about the ones we'll eat?
Just how many pumpkins do you want?
I'll take them all if I could, and I'll eat them really slowly so they last forever. But Bibi, I'm just kidding. I'd be happy with 2. Whoa, Kibena, this is a lot to carry. I heard that they're really good for your health. Don't you know that's why I love them? Tiny Timber, let's split the burden by carrying it together. What do you mean? I want pumpkins, not a burden. What kind of vegetable is that? No, that's not what I meant, Tiny Temper. Okay, don't laugh at me. Just tell me. You carry the pumpkins and I'll carry the leaves, okay? Good idea, Kibena. Let's do it. Let me hide my 2 pumpkins first. Then I'll come get them on the way back. Pumpkins and greens must be really good for your health. Everyone at the market wanted to buy some. Didn't I tell you? So were you just eating them without knowing how much they were helping your health? I just like the taste. Don't you stop liking it. Eat your greens every day. I think I'll go on my way now. I need to pick up my pumpkins and take them home. All right, see you later. Grandma, everyone loved the pumpkins. We sold them all, even all the greens. There isn't a single one left.
Oh no, Kibena. I forgot to keep even 1 pumpkin for seeds.
Wait, we haven't got any seeds?
Not one. Quick, Kibena. Run back to the market and buy at least 1 pumpkin so that we can put away the seeds.
We haven't got any seeds? Not even 1?
Kibena, stop sending around. Just go and find some seeds for next year. Oh no, they were all gone, weren't they? I can't believe I forgot to put away my savings.
Grandma, I've got an idea.
Okay, tell me, Kibena.
Maybe I can go see Tiny Timber to see if he put any seeds away.
Good idea, Kibena. I forgot to keep even 1 pumpkin for seeds.
Kibena, when did you start running for exercise? Hold on. Let me catch my breath. Oh, my friend Kibena, those pumpkins were so delicious. What's wrong? Isn't it a good thing that your pumpkins were delicious? Tiny Temple, Grandma and I forgot to put away pumpkin seeds for next year. I was hoping to get at least 1 back from you, but you've eaten them. What are we gonna do? My grandma and I don't have any pumpkins. Too bad, buddy. Kibena, you're about 2 minutes too late. Just finished eating that second delicious pumpkin. Oh no! Too bad, buddy. But that's the way it is. Hopefully you've learned your lesson and you won't forget to put away your savings next time. But you didn't even remind me, Tiny Timber. But I say it all the time, Kibena. Hold on, Kibena. I've got an idea. You know me well, don't you, Kibena? Who am I? You're my friend, Tiny Timber. What a silly question. Is that all? Just my name, Tiny Timber? That's not all. You know that I'm always prepared and I always put away my savings. What are you talking about? You're not making any sense. Wait and you'll see. Woohoo! That's what I'm talking about. You're the man, Tiny Tembo. Woo! So, see what I mean? Okay, now let me carry it. No, you'll go off and sell it. I don't know how we forgot. Every day on the radio, Grandma and I always hear that song about put away your savings keep you going. Okay, let's go and take this pumpkin to your baby. You know Kibena? Uh-huh. I understand the importance of savings. That's why I left this pumpkin. Uh-huh. Because no matter what, you've got to save a little bit of what you've got. So make sure you listen carefully to the song on TV and the radio and learn from it. Learning is everything, Kibena. It's so true. Grandma and I have learned our lesson.
You're back with the seeds for the next year. Put away your savings, because no matter what, you have to save a bit of what you've got. Put away your savings, because no matter what, you have to save a bit of what you've got. You must plan for the future no matter how much you earn. Put away your savings, because no matter what, you have to save a bit of what you've got. I have to tell you kids, I am so relieved. You have made me so happy today.
Don't forget to put away your savings again. There are lots of different kinds of savings. You can save seeds as well as money. That's why we say that no matter what, you have to save a bit of what you've got. That way you can be prepared for whatever may come.
Hey kids! Kibena needs your help! Help her pick the right number! Aha! That's it! All of you can help Kibena out using an Android smartphone. Download our Math app, which has versions in both English and Kiswahili. Ask a parent or adult to help you. Then go to the Google Play Store and search for Ubongo Kids. Pick the app in the language you want and click Install to download it for free. Open it up and you'll have a fun, new educational app to play anytime you want. Need help? Just visit our Facebook page and we're here to help you out. Download it and we'll see you on the phone.
Mental acrobatics every day, all the time. Just use your mind. You use math when you measure. Width and length, solve problems using mental strength. Use number operations like multiplication. The number you'll find is like magic from your mind. Math is a part of everyday life. Just add, subtract, divide, and multiply. Can you solve the problem? Did you get the answer? Just use your brain and you can do it, sir. Now, don't you rush. Just take it slow. You must be careful. Don't you know? You use math for all things in life. When you eat ugali, you count your bites. In a parade, count the steps you take. Just listen when I rap. I'm using math. Calculate the distance when you drive your car, so you will know if you've gone far. Yes, Here's something else for you to count. Can you count the teeth in my mouth? We can measure width, length, and depth, and represent with X, Y, and Z. Math is beautiful. Everything. Just do the numbers in your head. Now try to add up all the spots on my neck. How many do you see? And I even use math to get leaves off the tree.
Mathematics, 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 how I love it, mathematics, sing about the magic of mathematics, mathematics, making number magic with mathematics, mathematics, sing about the magic of mathematics, mathematics,
A loving husband and father. Nothing is too good for